pelaksanaan di masing-masing lokasi ini akan bervariasi, sehingga butuh pendekatan juga yang tidak sama gitu. Dan ini kebalikannya juga seperti itu. Jadi Indonesia sudah banyak inovasi-inovasinya, dan ini nanti bisa juga dibawa ke negara-negara tetangga kita ya, yang mempunyai isu-isu yang kira-kira mirip seperti di Filipina, di Thailand, dan juga mungkin di Malaysia, Singapura. Saya rasa kita punya situasi yang kurang lebih tidak berbeda jauh gitu. Nah, untuk itu saya kira saya kira pertemuan atau kompetisi ini akan bermanfaat ya, dan bisa terus dikembangkan, dan ini juga intinya membangun network. Nah, dengan network ini biasanya kita saling memotivasi untuk berbuat lebih baik dan mencontoh apa yang baik. Nah, ini yang kami dukung dari sisi pelaksanaan kompetisi ini, dan ini juga sekali lagi kita akan saya pikir kita perlu memberi kesempatan ya yang menarik bagi para inovator dan pelaku yang sudah berkecimpung dalam penanganan sampah. Dalam hal di sini punya inovasi tapi perlu dites gitu, perlu dikasih kesempatan untuk menguji penerapan dari hasil inovasi yang mereka kembangkan. Jadi ini 15 besar nanti inovator terbaik ini akan dipilih dan berkesempatan mendapatkan program training selama 3 bulan untuk lebih menyiapkan nanti apa ide-ide mereka itu bisa diterapkan secara lebih luas, saya rasa seperti itu. Dan 4 yang terbaik saya diinfokan akan menerima award. Nah, ini yang berupa selain pelatihan juga ada pendanaan secara khusus untuk mereka bisa mengembangkan peluang pemanfaatan inovasi yang pasti baik itu, karena sudah terpilih dari yang baik. Jadi ini yang terbaik dari yang baik-baik gitu. Nah, saya pikir inovasi ini juga tentu akan sebagai pemicu ya kepada seluruh Indonesia dan juga negara-negara ASEAN, termasuk nanti dari komunitas bisnis, organisasi nirlaba, akademisi, lembaga politik, dan juga bahkan mungkin individu ya. Secara individu ini akan kelompok-kelompok ya, jadi mudah-mudahan ini bisa jadi lebih berkembang begitu ya, dengan mungkin yang saya mau usulkan adalah publikasinya lebih perlu diinikan. Pak Gubernur juga nanti saya rasa bisa sebagai contoh gitu, dan kita punya daerah destinasi DSP ya Pak, prioritas lainnya, dan ini kami kalau ada kesempatan akan sampaikan nanti secara khusus kepada Pak Menteri bila di Mandalika ini sudah ada kegiatan ini, dan nanti mudah-mudahan lebih kelihatan ya Pak perkembangan positifnya gitu Bapak Ibu. Dan sekali lagi saya menyambut baik ya untuk kegiatan ini, dan untuk secara resmi saya mohon izin untuk meluncurkan Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge fase 2 ini yang akan dilaksanakan di Mandalika, Lombok, dan secara bersamaan juga dilaksanakan di Pulau Samal, Filipina. Secara resmi ini saya buka, saya luncurkan, tentu dengan harapan agar program ini, EPIC fase 2 ini dapat memberikan kontribusi dalam melahirkan solusi inovatif dalam pengurangan sampah plastik di laut, khususnya di Mandalika, Indonesia secara lebih luas, dan lebih luasnya lagi di kawasan Asia Tenggara. Semoga apa yang kita upayakan ini mendapat ridho dari Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, dan insya Allah akan memberikan berkah bagi kita semua yang ikut berkontribusi dalam hal pemikiran, dalam hal action maupun yang mensupport ya. Jadi ini suatu kegiatan yang baik, dan mudah-mudahan kita semua mendapat kebaikan, balasan kebaikan. Demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan. Terima kasih sekali lagi buat semuanya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Madam Nani, for your remark. And now, together, we will witness the launching of Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge, or EPIC Phase 2, marked by the playback of the EPIC Phase 2 video. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your applause for the launching of the Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge EPIC Phase 2 in Indonesia? Thank you very much. And by this, the registration for EPIC Phase 2 is officially opened. Take your first step and visit plasticchallenge.undp.org.vn. And we all hope that our innovators will be able to channel their creative and innovative ideas to solve plastic pollution problem in ASEAN, especially in Mandalika, Indonesia, and Samal Island, the Philippines. So innovators, what are you waiting for? Register your ideas and innovations now and be a part of EPIC Phase 2. Without any further ado, we will listen to the remarks from Mr. Bjornar Hodtvedt, Minister Counselor of Royal Norwegian Embassy in Jakarta, representing His Excellency Ambassador Vegard Kal, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Norway to Indonesia. To Mr. Bjornar Hodtvedt, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me first greet Ibu Nani Endiati, Deputy for Coordination of Environmental Management and Forestry at the Coordinating Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Investments, Bapak Zulkifli Mansia, Governor of Nusa Tenggara Barat, Bapak Novrizal Tahar, Director for Environmental Management at KLHK, and Ibu Sophie Kemhatse, Deputy Resident Representative of UNDP Indonesia. And let me also greet all other attendees. Selamat pagi semuanya. The growing problem of waste and marine litter is a threat to the environment and our societies. And the problem is global. In my own country, Norway, we still have severe waste challenges. Whales have starved to death because their stomachs were full of plastics. And there are problems that are not visible above water, such as abandoned or lost fishing nets, so-called ghost nets, which are death traps to fish and marine mammals. Every year in my country, cleanup campaigns take place, but the amount of trash does not seem to decline. There is still too much litter and plastic on Norwegian beaches. And if we turn to Southeast Asia, it is well documented that this region is a hotspot for waste and plastic in the ocean. And given the magnitude of the problem, as well as the large size and diversity of this region, many would say that this is an uphill battle, that it will take many, many years to see progress in the fight against marine litter and plastic. I do not share this pessimistic view, because Indonesia has chosen to tackle the problem head on. Ambitious policies have been made, targets have been set, and lots of forward-oriented work has been initiated, both on the national and on the regional level. An example of this is the National Secretariat. Sorry about that. A good example is the National Secretariat on Marine Litter Reduction at the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, launched in 2019. The Secretariat, which receives support from the Embassy of Norway, coordinates efforts across ministries and makes policy briefs and policy recommendations with the purpose of removing bottlenecks in Indonesia's handling of marine litter. This is truly important work, and I know that the Secretariat at KLHK has made good progress since its inception. And the Secretariat's ultimate goal is to help the President achieve his target of 70% reduction of marine litter by 2025. But the efforts of the governments can only achieve so much. To solve the problem of marine litter and waste, we need also commitments from society at large, and we need new ideas. It therefore gives me great pleasure to take part in the launch of Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge Phase 2, which will have a particular focus on Indonesia and the Philippines. I'm also happy to say that this program receives support from the Norwegian Development Program to combat marine litter at NORAD, Norway. I hope as many as possible will join this challenge and contribute to new ways of preventing plastic from ending up in our seas. I understand that the Indonesian challenge will take part in an area that I have visited and have great memories from, namely Mandalika in South Lombok. This area has a wonderful scenery and is dotted with beautiful beaches, and the government has identified Mandalika as a priority area for tourism in the years to come. I have not yet visited the famous festival Bauniale, but it is my great hope that I can go to Mandalika one day and take part in this wonderful festival. So, to attract tourists, it's of great importance that the coastal areas are kept free from waste and plastic. So I hope this challenge will stimulate creativity and innovation and result in some really good solutions. And in order to realize the potential of sustainable coastal tourism, all parties need to join forces. The government, both on national and local level, the private sector, international partners, and we as individuals. Together, we can achieve a lot more than if we stand alone. In conclusion, it is my hope that Indonesia will always be associated with litter-free beaches and crystal clear water. And in my opinion, this is fully possible if the right measures are taken. And this challenge can play an important role. The fact that the government has set ambitious targets and the fact that ever more Indonesians want to contribute to reducing the waste problem makes me optimistic about the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your remarks, sir. And now I would like to welcome Mr. Zulkifli Mansyah, the Governor of West Nusa Tenggara Province, to deliver his remarks. To Mr. Zulkifli Mansyah, the stage is yours.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya sangat senang oleh karena sambutannya pendek-pendek saja, ya. Karena menurut saya banyak sekali pembicara-pembicara yang bagus dan mudah-mudahan ini langkah awal dari penyelesaian plastic pollution di seluruh dunia, terutama di tempat kami di West Nusa Tenggara. Ada beberapa poin yang ingin saya sampaikan. Pertama, ini satu inisiatif yang harus diberikan penghargaan, apresiasi, karena inisiatifnya bagus sekali. Plastic is everywhere, especially in tourist destination seperti West Nusa Tenggara ini, dan waktunya juga pas. Apalagi Mandalika is one of the super priority destination, diprioritaskan oleh Pak Jokowi, and we are going to be the host of MotoGP and other international events that started from this year, yang menyebabkan tentu akan ada banyak polusi, terutama plastik yang disebabkan ratusan ribu orang datang ke tempat kami. Oleh karena itu, salah satu program yang jadi unggulan kami sebagai pemerintah daerah adalah Zero Waste Project. Tapi ternyata Zero Waste ini gampang diucapkan, tapi implementasinya tidak sederhana. Berupa mental model, shifting of mind dari majority of our people, dan juga penyelesaian seperti Ibu Deputi katakan tadi tidak cukup dengan mengumpulkan, memilah sampah. Sudah dilakukan sampai orang jenuh. Sehingga kami pada kesimpulan kenapa inisiatif ini sangat tepat. We need science and technological innovation to overcome these serious problems. Tetapi bukan hanya since innovation is a dynamic process, kami kira berdasarkan pengalaman ini tidak cukup. Inovasi ini datang dari kelompok-kelompok kecil masyarakat. Dengan banyaknya sampah plastik ini, inovasi itu, technological innovation itu tidak cukup dengan penghargaan kecil yang kalau ada teknologi innovation itu kemudian seperti menyelesaikan masalah. first, I think we should be able to identify the underlying structure, the whole picture, so that the basic problem can be identified. Nah, salah satu yang kami temukan dalam pengalaman kami as a governor adalah ya, kurangnya polusi plastik ini diproses di tempat kami. Ada bank sampah, ada pengumpul sampah, tapi plastiknya kemudian dikirim ke Surabaya. Lama-lama capek juga. Jadi dengan bantuan Bapak dan Ibu, especially coming from Norway or other European countries, kami butuh perusahaan atau teknologi yang serius mengolah sampah plastik ini di tempat kami sendiri. Ini there is nothing new under the sun, ya. Teknologi pengolahan plastik ini bukan satu hal yang luar biasa, tapi kami ingin bukan lagi kelompok masyarakat, bukan lagi NGOs, tapi a company, a serious company who involved in processing plastic into commodity. Oleh karena itu saya kira ini baru bisa menyelesaikan masalah kalau ada perusahaan yang bergelut dalam bidang pengolahan sampah plastik ini hadir di tempat kami, sehingga green tourism, green energy betul-betul hadir dalam menunjang Mandalika sebagai super priority destination. Yang jelas inisiatif ini kita sudah mulai. I'll do my best to help, I'll do my best to facilitate, sehingga perusahaan-perusahaan yang punya teknologi dalam mengolah sampah plastik itu mau datang ke tempat kami. Kalau butuh tanah, saya sediakan tanahnya. Kalau butuh infrastruktur, saya sediakan infrastruktur. Mudah-mudahan kalau ini pengolahan sampah plastik bisa dilakukan di NTB, akan memberikan inspirasi bagi most province in the eastern part of Indonesia, bahkan provinsi-provinsi di Jawa. Sekali lagi terima kasih undangannya, dan mohon maaf juga kami tidak bisa mengikuti acara ini sampai selesai. Pada panitia saya harus ke airport, ke bandara, mau ke Jakarta. Nah, kalau ada interesting ideas, kita bisa ketemu di Jakarta. Mudah-mudahan event-event seperti ini sering kita adakan, dan kami berterima kasih Lombok dan Mandalika mendapat priority untuk menjadi host atau tempat pertemuan dari plastic pollution yang coba bisa digagas oleh teman-teman. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for your remark, Mr. Zulkifli Mansyah. And now I will invite Mr. Nofrizal Tahan, Director of Solid Waste Management, Ministry of Environment and Forestry, to deliver his remark, representing Madam Rosa Vivin Ratnawati as the Director General of Solid Waste, Hazardous Waste and Hazardous Substances Management, Ministry of Environment and Forestry.
Terima kasih Mbak Valerina Daniel. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Yang terhormat dan kita banggakan Ibu Dr. Nani Hendiarti, Deputi Bidang Pengelolaan Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan, Kementerian Koordinator Maritim dan Investasi. Yang terhormat dan kita banggakan Bapak Dr. Zulkifli Mansyah, Gubernur Nusa Tenggara Barat. Yang saya hormati Bapak Bambang Suwerda, inisiator Gerakan Bank Sampah di Indonesia. Saya juga mengucapkan selamat Pak Bambang Suwerda atas Lifetime Achievement Award-nya dari Menteri Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan sebagai di bidang pengelolaan sampah di Indonesia. I would like also to welcome Mr. Bjornar Hortvedt, Head of Mission of Royal Norwegian Embassy. Good morning, Bjornar. Mrs. Sophie Kemkadze, UNDP Indonesia, Deputy Resident Representative. I am thankful for our cooperation, especially in supporting our effort to reduce. And I also want to welcome our inspirational talk show panelists, Mrs. Nguyen Pho and Mrs. Regula Sheikh. Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati, pemerintah Indonesia terus menunjukkan komitmen yang sangat kuat dalam pengelolaan sampah dan juga dalam menurunkan sampah plastik ke laut. Ini ditunjukkan dengan Peraturan Presiden Nomor 97 Tahun 2017 dan juga berbagai peraturan turunannya. Salah satunya adalah Peraturan Menteri Nomor 75 Tahun 2019 tentang peta jalan pengurangan sampah oleh produsen. Hal ini juga ditunjukkan dengan adanya Peraturan Presiden Nomor 83 Tahun 2018 tentang penanganan sampah laut. Seperti yang kita ketahui juga, pada saat ini kita sudah berada pada kondisi peningkatan penurunan sampah laut, sampah plastik ke laut di Indonesia dengan angka 15,3%. Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati, seperti yang disampaikan juga oleh Ibu Dr. Nani Hendiarti tadi dalam pembukaan, bahwa kawasan Mandalika, Kuta Mandalika adalah merupakan destinasi pariwisata super prioritas yang sudah ditetapkan oleh pemerintah. Dan seperti kita ketahui juga di Mandalika saat ini sedang dibangun juga sirkuit MotoGP. Dan bagaimanapun destinasi wisata ini akan sustainable apabila juga ini akan kompatibel dengan kualitas lingkungannya. Oleh sebab itu ini menjadi hal penting, salah satunya adalah berkaitan dengan bagaimana kita mengelola sampah plastik ke laut di kawasan Mandalika, Provinsi Nusa Tenggara Barat tentunya secara umum. Kita juga melihat bagaimana juga komitmen dari pemerintah daerah Nusa Tenggara Barat seperti yang disampaikan oleh juga Bapak Gubernur tadi, apalagi kita mengetahui Nusa Tenggara Barat pada saat ini juga punya program yang disebut Menuju Zero Waste 2023. Tentu ini juga merupakan komitmen yang sangat kuat dari pemerintah daerah, baik provinsi maupun kabupaten kotanya, dan juga diikuti dengan gerakan-gerakan partisipasi publik yang sangat luar biasa di Nusa Tenggara Barat, seperti gerakan Bank Sampah, Satu Desa Satu Bank Sampah, kemudian juga saat ini juga RDF juga teknologi juga sudah diterapkan juga di Lombok, di Nusa Tenggara Barat, begitu ya. Tentu ini adalah hal-hal yang positif dan komitmen pemerintah daerah yang sangat baik tentunya. Sehingga hal ini tentu perlu kita berikan support yang lebih luas lagi kepada pemerintah dan gerakan-gerakan partisipasi publik yang ada di Nusa Tenggara Barat. Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati, Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge atau EPIC merupakan kompetisi yang diadakan untuk menjaring inovasi-inovasi luar biasa. EPIC yang akan diadakan di kawasan Kuta Mandalika, Nusa Tenggara Barat, dan Filipina ini akan kembali mempertemukan berbagai pemangku kepentingan untuk berkolaborasi dalam membangun solusi untuk masalah sampah plastik yang efektif dan inovatif. Kompetisi EPIC merupakan kesempatan untuk mendorong perubahan dengan meningkatkan kesadaran, sharing best practice, dan mencoba pendekatan-pendekatan baru untuk mengatasi masalah plastik lokal. Hal ini bertujuan untuk memberikan dua hasil, yaitu ekonomi sirkular, produk plastik di 4 wilayah sasaran di ASEAN, penguat dan peningkatan pengetahuan, kerjasama, dan jejaring di negara-negara ASEAN. Pada fase pertamanya di Thailand dan Vietnam, EPIC berhasil menjaring inovasi-inovasi luar biasa. Inovasi tersebut beragam dari mulai pengolahan sampah plastik menjadi bahan siap guna hingga pemanfaatan bahan biodegradable dari alam menjadi alternatif plastik. Dan pada pagi hari ini bersama kita juga telah hadir inovator-inovator tersebut dalam EPIC fase pertama tersebut. Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati, hal penting yang ingin kami tekankan juga, kita berharap inovator-inovator yang akan muncul dalam kompetisi EPIC ini juga tidak lepas kontekstualnya dengan wilayahnya, dengan Nusa Tenggara Baratnya, dengan Kuta Mandalikanya. Sehingga apa yang dihasilkan dari inovasi itu tidak terlepas dari kondisi sosial, ekonomi, dan kondisi pemerintah daerahnya juga di sana, sehingga memang diharapkan melakukan inovasi itu menjadi tepat guna dan berhasil menjadi sebagai solusi untuk menyelesaikan pengurangan sampah plastik ke laut di Nusa Tenggara Barat, khususnya di Kuta Mandalika. Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati, saya sangat mendukung diadakannya kompetisi EPIC ini. EPIC dapat melahirkan solusi inovatif yang dapat berkontribusi dalam aplikasi ekonomi sirkuler dengan mencegah sampah plastik dan polusi di sumbernya. Dengan demikian, sampah plastik yang masuk ke laut akan berkurang sehingga target pemerintah Indonesia mengurangi 70% sampah ke laut di tahun 2025 dapat diakselerasikan dan dapat diwujudkan. Terima kasih. Selamat pagi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for your remark, Pak Nafrizal Tahar. An insightful remark from Mr. Nafrizal Tahar concludes the launching session of EPIC Phase 2. And without another further ado, we will begin another exciting session of today, and that is the $72,000 Ideas to Combat Plastic Waste talk show. But before we start, I would like to thank our media partners, International Association of Students in Agricultural and Related Sciences in Indonesia, Jago Preventive, Kopernik, Narasea Indonesia, Ocean Defender, Plastic Detox, Sahabat Laut, Sustaination, Teens Go Green Indonesia, and Taka. Our first panelist in this talk show is Nguyen Vo. Hello, Vo. Vo is the founder and CEO of Green Joy and responsible for Green Joy's operations and leadership. She has a 10-year experience in operations, supply chain, and project management. Also, Vo has an MBA in Cage Business School, France. This is also interesting as she has a vision to replace 5 billion straws by 2025 and turning grass into money. She and her team brought Green Joy to win the EPIC Phase 2 last January. Hello, Vo. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And I can't wait to hear your story because you are the winner of the EPIC Phase 1. Thank you once again. Our next panelist is here with us already, Mr. Bambang Suwerda. Mr. Bambang Suwerda is the figure behind the emergence of the waste bank concept, which has been applied throughout Indonesia. He established the Waste Bank Gemah Ripah in Bantul, Yogyakarta in 2008 as he aimed to leverage waste management using conventional banking systems. This March, Bambang was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award in the waste management sector by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry of Indonesia. Halo Pak Bambang, apa kabar? Iya, semoga Bapak bisa mendengarkan suara saya dengan jelas ya Pak. Salam sehat selalu. Terima kasih sudah bergabung bersama kami. All right, ladies and gentlemen, another powerful figure is another powerful woman. We have Regula Sheikh. Regula is an experienced professional with over 20 years of leadership, business development, project management, finance, and social enterprise or startup expertise, and currently oversees Circulate Capital Ocean Fund's investment portfolio in South and Southeast Asia. Regula manages asset allocations as well as due diligence and portfolio management of fund investments. She also provides strategic advisory to the portfolio companies. Hello, Regula.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We understand that it's 4 a.m. in the morning at your place at the moment. So thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, what an exciting lineup of our talk show panelists. I want to kindly remind our audiences that you are welcome to address your question to our panelists by sharing your question on the Q&A box on the panel at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Please share it using the format name _ your institution _ name of address speaker _ your question. Okay, I will open this talk show now, and Vo, it is now your turn. Therefore, I would like to ask you a few questions. But first question is, Green Joy brought up an idea of producing biodegradable straw made from grass. So what was the background behind this idea?
Yes, hi everybody. Our story of Green Joy, they began with the clip of a plastic straw they stuck inside a sea turtle and the pit full of the plastic waste. This is the consequence of the fast-paced lifestyle of the human and looking at our nature being destroyed by the plastic waste. I told myself that I need to find an alternative solution from the nature to reduce the use of single-use plastics in general and the plastic waste in particular. Then I know that the Labironia grass which grow naturally in the alkaline waters in the Mekong Delta, and these raw materials are biodegradable and eco-friendly, which make it the best alternative to the plastic straw. Our solution is not only reduce the plastic waste consumption, but also improve the livelihoods for hundreds of people and local economy in the Mekong Delta region. Thank you.
Okay, so when you come up with this idea, you and your team, so what are the challenges in order to, to make this idea into innovation and really innovation that can be implemented?
Yes, when we launching for this idea, we get a lot of the interest from the customer, from the people, and one of our challenges is that we have the overload with the order. This is also the challenge, but also the happiness for us. The grass straw, they receive the attention from more and more customer and the partner, but at this stage, we are at a small scale and several production steps are still manual and restricts us from meeting the big demand from on the customer, and we are spend all day and night to finish for the order and to deliver it to many of the customer. But over the last 4 months, we have had several the learning experience. We identify the way to make the process cleaner, manage people more efficiently, and apply the production and the technology, which is the automation, to improve our staff. And now we are now receive the funding from the UNDP so that we can have to expand it in the Ha Long Bay and invest in the machinery and tooling for our automation.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. Now I'm going to moving on to our next panelist. So we have discussed a lot on the innovation to combat plastic pollution, and most of Indonesians have heard so much on Waste Bank, one of the most unique innovations of waste management in Indonesia. And now I will ask Mr. Bambang Suwerda about this. Pak Bambang, so I will ask the question in English first. How did the idea to create a Waste Bank first emerge, and what was the background for the innovative concept of the Waste Bank? So Bapak mungkin bisa ceritakan kenapa bisa tiba-tiba punya ide untuk buat bank sampah.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Mbak Valerina. Saya diberi kesempatan untuk menjelaskan tentang konsep bank sampah. Jadi memang di latar belakangi di mana RT kami ini dulu ketika setelah gempa banyak perilaku yang bakar, buang sampah, kemudian kumpul angkut buang. Artinya di situ masyarakat sudah nyaman, sudah enjoy dengan sistem yang ada saat itu, yaitu dengan bak sampah. Nah, sebelum kami meng-hire tentang bank sampah, kami sudah membantu teman kami satu pekerjaan di kampus, kebetulan di jurusan Kesehatan Lingkungan Poltekkes, itu di Sukunan, tapi konsepnya beda. Mereka adalah dengan sistem mandiri produktif, jadi menjadi kas kampung. Nah, konsep ini kita coba sebenarnya ketika kita sampaikan ke masyarakat, kita hanya tugasnya mengurangi sampah yang ada di bak sampah untuk berpindah ke bank sampah. Sebenarnya konsepnya sangat sepele. Kita menambahkan konsonan N di antara vokal A dan K dari bak sampah. Maka dalam skema ini kita coba sampaikan ke teman-teman karena dampak gempa ini keeratan hubungan antar tetangga itu sangat sangat kuat, sehingga begitu kita luncurkan satu konsep, mereka siap dan berkolaborasi. Dan kami alhamdulillah sudah 13 tahun berjalan, gerakan yang dulu hanya satu RT, yang memang roh utuhnya adalah sebenarnya kami ingin merevolusi mintanya masyarakat di dalam pengelolaan sampah lewat salah satu opsi dengan model bank sampah ini, Mbak Valerina.
Okay, baik. So 13 years has been producing or managing the West Bank operation throughout Indonesia. So the next question will be the same as Vo. So what are the challenges and opportunities in developing a West Bank? Apa yang paling berat menurut Bapak untuk mengajak orang, karena tidak mudah untuk mengubah tadi mindset, pola pikir orang sebelumnya?
Ya, ada dua tantangan yang menyebabkan kita terus berinovasi, yaitu mencari SDM, mencari sumber daya, terutama anak-anak muda, untuk mau mengelola sampah. Ini butuh effort, butuh usaha yang ekstra, dan kami terus melakukan seperti itu. Yang kedua adalah membangun kesadaran masyarakat untuk memilah kemudian menabung. Jadi proses ini adalah memindahkan sistem yang sudah mapan, mereka sudah nyaman dengan bakar buang, diminta untuk memilah nabung. Nah, itu dua hal ini, sehingga kami terus sejak awal setelah gempa sampai sekarang, rohnya adalah edukasi ke masyarakat. Termasuk sebenarnya teknis kami adalah karena ini bank sampah itu edukasi, buku rekening secara teknis operasional, SOP-nya, kalau punya putra-putri harus diatasnamakan anak-anak. Artinya bank sampah ini sebenarnya kalau kita maknai lebih mendalam, itu mempersiapkan generasi-generasi muda di Indonesia yang nanti menjadi pejabat yang peduli lingkungan. Maka saya tidak akan berhenti sampai di 13 tahun ini, Mbak Fadli.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Bambang atas penjelasannya. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we see innovators and ventures reach out for investment to develop their ideas. For example, Foho has already told us about UNDP's funding has already helped her team to produce more in order to fulfill the requirement from the stakeholders. And then, of course, now we want to know the perspective from the other side, which is the potential investor. So now I'm going to ask question to Regular about this. So quoting for the Circular Capital Handbook of Action launched in 2019, it was stated that there are hesitations from many investment firms to invest in plastic waste management due to multiple reasons. So what do you think are the reasons behind this issue?
Thank you so much. Yes, there's indeed quite a capital gap in the industry globally to invest, particularly in South and Southeast Asia, to invest in material recovery and recycling. Some of the key reason is really that it is an unknown industry. It's an industry where there has historically been hardly any capital moving in. And so the investor doesn't really know the industry and therefore often feels uncomfortable investing. This is really what we at Circular Capital would like to approach and really make sure that we can showcase that there is a good pipeline to invest. We have a very solid pipeline in South and Southeast Asia to invest either in material recovery, in material processing, upcycling, as well as innovation, which replaces plastics. So really helping to build a visible pipeline, which allows other investors to feel more comfortable to enter and invest their funding. But then investors also want to make money, right? And so because of the lack of pipeline and the lack of investors in the market, there's also a lack of evidence-based track record, basically that you can make money. And we at Circular Capital also want to showcase that with our fund we launched in 2019, over $106 million to be invested in companies in the region, to see that, to showcase that you can make money while having a tremendous environmental impact and a tremendous social impact. So that together then I trust will allow other investors, institutional investors, eventually private investors to come in. And with that, I also trust that there will be more investment products put into the market, particularly also for individual investors to eventually invest in these industries.
Okay, so responding to your previous answer, so what finally make circulate capital invest in this area particularly? And then maybe you can also give us an insight on what circulate capital consider while considering to invest in such venture.
So first of all, it's a systems problem, right? And we heard that before, which means system solutions. There is, when you look at the Pew systemic study, which was published a couple of months ago, we can actually reduce the plastic waste by 80% if we build on existing technologies. So that means really investing in solutions which tackle the collection and the sorting of the material, ideally at the household level, to collect the material at the volume needed for recycling and at the quality needed. I mean, when we invest, I think it is important to understand there are actually 5 gaps we need to address. Gap number 1 is really access to the right volume of material to recover and recycle at the right quality. The less contaminated the material, the better for recycling, the higher the value. And when you look at solutions, they need therefore to go to the household level where material is segregated as early as possible, right? A next gap we see is really the processing and recycling. It's making sure that we invest in solutions which are upcycling. There are a lot of different opportunities out there, small scale, which are more on the downcycling side. But when you look at the technologies today, you can actually take a PET bottle, flake it, wash it, recycle it to go back into a PET bottle. That's the so-called full circular or closed loop recycling. So really making sure that we invest in ideas and solutions which bring the true value of plastics out, which really take it and benefit from going full circular back into a bottle. I think a key area also, and that might be the area of the EPIC challenge, is design, innovation, alternative materials, right? So to reduce single-use plastics, you can actually, and we heard it with Green Joy, you can take other material which is more sustainable to use for single-use plastics, like for straws, for cutlery. So think about how can you design material, packaging, that it becomes either replaced with alternative material, or you design it in a way that you can bring it back into the circular economy so that it's not thrown away, that's not single-used. And so that's a very interesting area to explore as well, where we also look into. Think also about innovative reuse models, right? Innovative distribution models. And I think particularly in the island solution approach, really think very systemically, not just at one item, but understand the entire value chain from where the material gets consumed to where it's going to be recycled so that it becomes full circular. We also have a data gap in the industry, and that's another area maybe where there is some innovation coming out of it. There's very little transparency in the industry in respect of how much material is consumed, produced, where the material is flowing, what happens with that material. And particularly when we understand, and maybe also in relation to the Bank Sampah's, traceability and transparency of material flow and the pricing is key, because that allows those who collect it to get better pricing, and with that have more economic standing in their societies. So really look at it, and that's the way we look at it, very systemically, environmental impact, social impact, find a system solution to a system problem, and think about a solution which goes really full circular.
Okay, thank you, Regula. Now I'm going to go back to Vo. So after we listen to Regula's explanation about the 5 gaps, what do you think of that to your activity with Green Joy? Did you consider all these 5 gaps before you finally present your idea to during the EPIC one?
Some of the gaps when we learned for these solutions is that because this is the materials is from the nature, this is the grass Labironia, and some of the stuff is still manual, so the price for the product or the for this plant-based product is a bit higher than the paper or the plastic straw. And some of the stakeholders or the customer, they are very concerned because they say that they want some of the solution that can be the best alternative for the single-use plastic and have the good right for them. And now we are on the way of doing the technologies and the automation as well as the plans our grass field to make the group of the ecosystem of the grass field, and then we can reduce the price and deliver to many customers and have that to replace a lot of
collaborations with other partners in order to make these ideas or innovative ideas into implemented or working business. That's what they say. So I'm going to go to Pak Bambang now. If you follow the conversation, Regula said that it is probably unfamiliar for the investment companies in order to invest in this kind of ventures. Jadi, what is your strategy?
Jadi saya sepakat. Jadi saya sepakat dengan apa yang disampaikan Mbak Regula terkait di dalam pengelolaan sampah ini harus melakukan pendekatan suatu sistem. Kalau di riset kami terkait dengan bank sampah ini memang ada 3 pilar dari sistem itu yang harus di-handle, dilakukan. Satu, masyarakat. Ini perwakilan dari penabung sampah. Jadi kita terus melakukan proses edukasi ke masyarakat. Yang kedua adalah pengelola. Pengelola bank sampah ini penting untuk mengawal program. Maka alhamdulillah dulu hanya 1 bank sampah, sekarang sudah di kisaran 11.330. Artinya banyak direktur-direktur bank sampah di Indonesia. Kemudian yang paling penting juga adalah pembeli sampah. Jadi sebenarnya kami itu ketika melihat regulasi yang akan diluncurkan oleh timnya Bu Pipin, Pak Nov terkait mendekatkan industri berbahan baku sampah, ini challenge bagi kami untuk mengurangi sampah-sampah yang dibuang di pinggir jalan, di sungai, bahkan sampai ke laut. Ya, artinya pendekatannya harus tersistem, bahkan sampai teknis operasional. Ketika bintek bank sampah, garap salah satu pekerjaan non formal yang selama ini terlupakan, yaitu pembeli sampah atau pelapak atau rosok. Itu bagian dari sistem untuk mengembalikan sampah pabrik kembali ke pabrik. Kemudian sampah alam kembali ke alam. Artinya bank sampah itu ibaratnya rumah besar di mana masyarakat berkreasi dengan kolaborasi dengan pemerintah dan swasta. Sampai regulasi ini sudah kita sedang revisi Permen LH nomor 13 tahun 2012 dengan timnya Bu Bikin dan Pak Nov untuk nanti zonasi ke depan. Ada bank sampah level unit di kecil-kecil di dusun, kemudian di level desa, kemudian sektoral di level kecamatan, kemudian sampai bank sampah level induk. Dan itu memang harus dilakukan ketika mengimbangi sampah yang dibuang oleh masyarakat melalui bak sampah. Maka harus ada sistem mengimbangi bak-bak sampah ini, termasuk sampah yang harus dibuang ke laut. Artinya bank sampah itu fungsinya dalam layanan misalnya kesehatan sesuai dengan pasal 4 di Undang-Undang nomor 18, bahwa bank sampah itu upaya preventif, pencegahan. Kemudian upaya promotif. Maka kita terus mempromosikan. Maka saya yakin ketika kolaborasi pemerintah dengan regulasi yang sudah disusun, dengan ada peraturan Presiden nomor 97 tahun 2017, kemudian peta pengurangan sampah, ini kami sebenarnya sedang mempersiapkan diri bagaimana kebutuhan bahan baku jangan semuanya dari luar negeri. Dan ini challenge bagi kami untuk menyediakan bahan baku dari industri. Itu Mbak Valerina.
Okay, baik. Thank you, Pak Bambang Suwerda. I hope Regula and Vo understand the answer. So basically, Pak Bambang said that we need a lot of support from the government as well. And then one of the ways to do that is provide regulations and then also have the support from the people as well. So I'm going go back to Regula. So learning from these 2 experiences from Pak Bambang and also from Vo, what do you think the sector this sector will develop in the future? Will there be more investment opportunities coming in the future?
Absolutely. We see already an increasing interest in capital getting into the industry. And I think it goes back to my first answer or first elaboration that, we can showcase that in addition to environmental and social impact we have, creating jobs, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, diverting plastic away from leaking into the ocean, there is clear evidence that you can make money in this industry. Recycling is a business to do, to make money in, and therefore it becomes more and more interesting to institutional investors to invest in the value chain. I think what is also key, and one component I just wanted to pick up is the offtake, right? It is obviously important to make sure when we recycle or retrieve material for recycling that there is a market for this material, and it's a good market. And when you look at all the many multinational corporations, and several of those are our investors, they made a clear commitment to taking that recycled material for their future packaging. And so it becomes a very circular approach whereby, we're taking the material, we recycle it, and then it goes back into the packaging of multinational corporations. So the commitment of those for the offtake of that material at a fair, good price, as well as the commitment of government agencies to enable the use of recycled plastic in packaging is really important. So I think just following up on what we heard before. So yes, there is indeed an increased interest, not only in South and Southeast Asia. We're talking here plastic waste, and as we heard before, being an issue on the African continent, in the Western world in general, we haven't figured it out either. And so we need to have global capital really flowing globally into the industry.
Okay. Thank you for answering that question. Now I'm going to go to Vo again. So Green Joy brings together the visions of reducing plastic and turning grass into money. So what are the milestones Green Joy has reached, and how would winning Epic raise the bar for the startup? So this is very important for our upcoming innovators.
Yes, thank you for having me again. Our solutions Green Choice was established 2 years ago, and it's built from the scratch. But as of now, what we can achieve so far is Green Choice already replaced for 30 million of the plastic straw, and this is equivalent to 15 tons of the plastic smart. And our solutions is already available with more than 100 of the customers in 30 countries in 4 continents, that is in the US, Europe, Oceania, and Asia. And some of the most important things is that we also have to provide the jobs for hundreds of the local people in the Mekong Delta region. All of these key measures are the best brought for our core business value that is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal. That is the goal number 12. This is responsible consumption and production. The goal number 14, life below water, and number 8, it is decent work and economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Vo, for sharing that story. So now I'm going to Pak Bambang. So for you, the Waste Bank has grown so much since 2008 and has been implemented throughout Indonesia. So how do you think this concept can shift the perspective among people in Indonesia, especially, to do more on plastic recycling? Is it a promising solution to invest on? Apakah menurut Bapak ini suatu hal yang bisa menjadi...
Jadi bank sampah ini kan memang domainnya adalah edukasi, bagaimana merubah perilaku masyarakat dari bakar buang, kemudian memilah menabung. Kemudian di dalam proses perkembangannya, kita tidak hanya di satu tujuan untuk aspek kesehatan masyarakat dan aspek penyelamatkan lingkungan, tapi muncullah di situ sirkuler ekonomi, terutama untuk mencapai tujuan ketiga dari tujuan buang sampah yang dituangkan di Undang-Undang Nomor 18 Tahun 2008. Maka ketika ada sinergitas, kami selaku teman-teman mewakili bank sampah di seluruh Indonesia yang tergabung di dalam asopsi, kemudian ada satu informasi bahwa pemerintah akan mencoba mendekatkan industri-industri berbahan baku sampah. Tentu ini kita harus membuat satu sistem bagaimana daur ulang ini bisa berjalan lancar. Dan termasuk yang dilakukan di Mandalika. Karena kami terus terang Mbak Validela, kami sudah 3 kali ke sana dengan KLHK, kemudian dengan Puslatnas, dengan Kementerian Pariwisata. Artinya apa? Satu lokasi itu tidak bisa di single factor, di-handle oleh satu kelembagaan. Butuh kolaborasi. Destination wisata prioritas ini tentu kita garap bareng-bareng. Jadi domainnya jelas, termasuk Kementerian Kesehatan harus tampil di sini. Maka nanti kalau DKNPSL, kemudian KLHK sebagai leading sektornya menggandeng dari Kementerian Kesehatan karena mereka punya program STBM, pilar keempat, sanitasi total berbasis masyarakat, yaitu pengamanan sampah rumah tangga. Dan yang paling effort harus telaten di Mandalika adalah merubah mindsetnya masyarakat dari bakar buang menjadi milah nabung. Sehingga kami di dalam proses, kalau bank sampah itu ibaratnya rumah besar, kami ada proses daur ulang juga. Kemudian kita juga connect dengan perusahaan-perusahaan dengan mengamalkan IPR-nya. Ini kami sedang intens menjalin beberapa perusahaan supaya mereka bertanggung jawab terhadap sampah yang mereka hasilkan. Sampai kami terinovasi, oke, untuk membantu marketnya pengrajin, kita buka distro bank sampah. Jadi di situ menjual merchandise dari produk daur ulang sampah, sampai outputnya, ayo pemerintah, ketika kita menggerakkan masyarakat membuat produk daur ulang, bantu mereka untuk membuat satu regulasi, lokakarya, seminar, workshop, pakailah seminar dari berbahan daur ulang ini. Itu tentu suatu kolaborasi yang luar biasa, Mbak Valerie.
Okay, thank you, Pak Bambang Suwerda. Hopefully this collaboration will be able to be developed in the future. Now, Regula, so my question to you now is, there are many solutions, technologies to address plastic pollution problems. And from your experience, how would you define a promising solution or technology in addressing the problem and also generate sufficient return for the investors?
Now I'm good. Thank you. A promising solution is really a solution that addresses one of the key gaps I mentioned before, right? Either it's in design, innovation, addressing the collection of the material, or the processing, recycling. But I think a promising solution is also a solution that addresses it systemically, in a sense that it looks at all the key stakeholders, particularly when we talk here about the Samal Island or Mandalika, that a promising solution really understands the stakeholders on the ground, includes the stakeholders, addresses the concerns of the communities or the villages, a solution that not only addresses environmental and social impact, but also, as we heard before, addresses what kind of behavioral changes you may need to consider, right? A solution, again, which is not stand itself alone, but is part of a community-driven or a systemic approach. I mean, certainly also a promising solution is an innovation or an investment or a business that is possibly scalable or replicable, right? Now, obviously, when you go for a project on one of these islands, ideally we could use that and implement it in another island setting, right? So that there is a replication aspect to it. Sure, a promising solution is also a solution that makes ultimately a return, right? We're talking here developing business models, and so it should also have a reasonable return in the long run and become sustainable. So I think a promising solution is also, when you look at it, what kind of a team setting you put together. I mean, a strong leadership team is key in implementing solutions. So those who apply for this epic challenge, think really about a very balanced team which can help you really grow this business to the next level. So go about this in that way, and I truly believe, as you understand the circular economy in that setting and approach it from that aspect, that I trust you will come up with very interesting opportunities for investors and impact investors to come in.
Thank you for explaining that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have already have an interesting discussion with our panelists. So, as we promised before, we have opened the opportunity for the audience to share their questions addressed to our panelists, and some questions are in already, and I'm going to read the question for our panelists. So, the first question is for Nienvo. From Rizka Mulyawan from Malikus Saleh University in Indonesia. So the question is, first, congratulations for your achievement. I have a question about your team. So you did present your innovation until the stage of business plan, including funding or idea without the financial part. So that's the question. You can also see on the screen. For Vo, please answer that question.
Yes, the solutions of the green chai. This is the biodegradable straw made from the grass, and we have the vision that turn the grass into money, and now we are already get the profits after 2 years of building, and we also get receive some of the attention from the angel investor, from the venture capitals, and some of the impact investor for our project. And in the meantime, beside the straw, we also do R&D, and we'll launch another plant-based product made from grass, but we'll expand more for the cup, the bowl, or others to that can replace the single use. Yeah, and this, of course, is already have the business plan, the funding, and the ability to scale up. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you for answering that question. We have another question coming. It is for Regula. So this from Ahmad from Indonesia. Do you think it is necessary to put a price on plastic to make it more expensive to waste plastic than to reuse or recycle it? Just like what the governments around the world is trying to do with carbon, what is the level of government support in Asia on putting a price on plastic?
I think there is automatically already a price on plastic in the sense that plastic we recover has a value. Certainly, it is to some extent driven by the oil price because, you know, plastic often is, I mean, it's coming from virgin oil and crude oil, but automatically by having the necessary technologies and mechanical and recycling of technologies available, there is already a value added to plastic. I think what makes it more valuable is when plastic is recovered early on in the process as clean as possible. And so intrinsically, yes, there is a value already that, you know, and the market is playing properly. I'm not sure if you refer to maybe subsidizing the value of plastic in a sense, or whether you talk about putting a tax on plastics. There are different models out there. Some of them, you know, put a tax on plastics. The European Union in Italy and Spain, they want to do that. But generally, the plastic in the market has value, and the properties are there to recycle properly. So the market is playing well, meaning that even recycled plastic with a rather low price is still marketable in the market.
Okay. Thank you, Regula, for answering that question. Now we have another question for Triana in Indonesia to Pak Bambang. Bagaimana rekomendasi Bapak untuk strategi yang paling efektif dalam penerapan dan pengembangan sirkular ekonomi melalui kearifan lokal di suatu daerah?
Ya, baik. Jadi tentu di bank sampah ini untuk modelnya kita kan ada ATM. Jadi di bank itu ada ATM, kita juga punya ATM. Jadi apa yang kami lakukan, konsep kita lakukan adalah diamasi. kemudian setelah diamati, kemudian dilakukan proses tiru. Jadi meniru apa yang akan dan kita lakukan, dan itu tidak 100% harus ditiru, itu dimodifikasi. Jadi disesuaikan dengan karakter lokal, termasuk di dalam proses sirkuler ekonomi, termasuk skala prioritas. Mana dulu yang akan dikelola di bank sampah ini? Apakah sampah-sampah organik atau sampah-sampah anorganik? Kalau di bank sampah itu ada pemilahan, klaster-klaster pemilahan, yaitu sampah layak tabung dan sampah tidak layak tabung. Dan itu nanti ada proses melihat apakah ini sudah naik kelas, karena yang ketiga adalah sampah layak tabung, kemudian sampah tidak layak tabung, dan sampah layak kompos. Kemudian yang berikutnya adalah pemilihan dengan bilangan prima yang kelima. Artinya itu sesuai regulasi dari PU. Artinya di dalam proses bank sampah ini dengan melihat budaya yang ada, termasuk pengembangan. Kami kemarin menyelesaikan di daerah Dieng, Sikunir. Saya pendekatannya dengan Pak Kiai, karena mereka sangat patuh dengan Kiai. Clue-nya masuk di sana, sehingga mereka sangat mudah ketika itu menjadi salah satu upaya untuk ya bahwa ngelola sampah itu sebagian dari iman. Kemudian juga kita lihat di level-level yang mungkin pendapatan ekonominya menengah ke bawah. Itu menjadi menarik ketika pengelolaan sampah ini dengan bank sampah salah satu opsinya dengan peningkatan nilai ekonomi. Artinya bank sampah ini dikembangkan dengan model 4-papan. Ketika kita mau menembak, mana dulu yang akan kita dampingi. Kalau di kepulauan kita sedang meng-hire di Jepara, di kepulauan di sana, juga kita lihat kultur masyarakatnya seperti apa. Bahkan kita tidak harus serta-merta harus ditabung dulu. Kalau mereka enjoy nyaman dengan proses daur ulang, kita latih dulu. Sehingga bank sampah itu yang seperti kami sampaikan di awal, itu rumah besar, kemudian di situ banyak teknologi yang masuk untuk membantu meningkatkan reduksi sampah yang harus dibuang ke laut dan sebagainya. Sekarang sudah mulai marak nih bank sampah. Dulu hanya sampah-sampah layak tabung, sekarang sudah mulai ke arah maggot, kemudian ekoenzim, supaya persentase pengurangan sampah itu semakin meningkat terdongkrak. Jadi kita jangan langsung bank sampah teknologinya harus ini, enggak. Disesuaikan dengan kultur budaya setempat. Termasuk diregulasi aturan ke masyarakat harus ada kesepakatan bersama oleh pengelola dan oleh masyarakat. Begitu Mbak Valeria dan
Baik, terima kasih Pak Bambang. Ini ada satu pertanyaan lagi, one more question for you, sir. This is from Nadira, mahasiswa BINUS University. Pak Bambang, kira-kira persentase sampah plastik dari rumah tangga ke bank sampah itu sebanyak apa, Pak? Apakah mengkhawatirkan?
Jadi di 2018 kami dengan tim itu melakukan riset terkait dengan sampah-sampah yang bisa ditabung di bank sampah. Kemudian kita ada sebaran, terutama kalau di sini fokusnya plastik, itu di kota Jogja, Sleman, kemudian Bantul, kita kalkulasi, itu yang bisa ditabung itu sekitar 964 kg per bulan. Artinya kalau ini dikembangkan terus di seluruh Indonesia, akan banyak sampah-sampah yang masuk ke hakikat ke jalan yang benar, bukan ke laut. Jadi sebenarnya bank sampah itu salah satu opsi menuju sampah plastik itu menuju ke jalan yang benar. Karena mereka akan berkolaborasi dengan pihak ketiga. Itu satu riset di 2018. Kemudian di 2019 kami melakukan riset potensi reduksi sampah dengan adanya bank sampah ini di wilayah perkotaan sekitar 7%, kemudian di pedesaan sekitar 5%. Ini akan kita genjot terus untuk kita cover di sampah organik. Dan sekarang saya dengan teman-teman ini mengelola sampah-sampah sapuan jalan di ruas jalan kota Bantul. Jadi mereka yang selama ini dibuang ke TPA, ayo masuk ke bank sampah, kita proses pengomposan, syukur nanti ada regulasi dari DLH untuk membeli sampah-sampah yang menjadi kompos. Itu Mbak Farida.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih Pak Bambang atas jawabannya. Kami masih menunggu bila ada pertanyaan lain. We are still waiting for another questions to coming in to our team. But for the moment, maybe I would like to ask Vo to tell us more about the process of your submission to the EPIC Phase 1, because maybe not all the audiences are familiar with the process. So can you tell us more about that? I think you need to unmute first. Thank you.
Yes, the process of submission for the application to the ABIS phase 1 maybe for the phase 2 it is still the same. We have the first one is that we prepare for the presentation with the 5 slides, which sum up the criteria from the program and from the church as well. And the next one is the one-page CV for all of the team member. And the additional document, this is the video clip that showed for our solution. And then we can wait for around in this ABIS phase 2, I see that this is around 40 days to get the research. And then the programs will inform for the finalists around 15 people to participate for the 9 months program. For the 3-month program, I'm sorry. And in this case, we will participate for the online meeting, workshop, or the site visit to some of the place, look like in Hạ Long Bay in Vietnam, to meet some of the local government, the women association, and to meet some of the people or the stakeholder that can help to implement our solutions in Hạ Long Bay. And then we also have some of the workshop and the training from the expert, from the environmental activists, and some of the people that can help us to improve our business model, the quickly meeting. And I think that from the program is our startup and other project, it also gained a lot of the great experience. So this can help us a lot to run our business for the long term as well. And after the treatment programs we will have for the competition, of course, it's a bit nervous, and everybody always try to make our solution to win or to come real. And but I think that the first thing is that if we have an idea or the solution, we will try our best as much as possible and have to convince to the people, to the church, that it's not only sustainable, but also for the scalable. And our visions for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years of what can we do for our project, and what can we do to have to reduce the plastic waste for Vietnam in private, but also for Southeast Asia and the global as well.
Thank you for explaining that. Now I have another question coming. It is for Regula. That's from Boyke, Indonesia. When you decide to invest in a company or a startup, what are the top 3 characteristics that you need to see from that company, particularly for waste management companies?
I would say really the top 3 is, what does the innovation or your business, how does it impact the environment? How does it positively impact the socioeconomic environment you're operating in? And to what extent do you see a sustainable, foreseeable future? I think it's also extremely important to understand the team you're building, the strengths of your team, so that the team has a good understanding of the vision and the mission of your company, that we see and we trust that this team you put together can really grow this business to the next level. Sure, there are many different ways of assessing a deal, right, and an opportunity. Gender is also important, diversity is important, but overall, I think if you can clearly address what environmental issue you want to address or resolve, what social impact you want to have, and how you see this business to be a good solution to the systemic problem we have, and how you can make it sustainable in also in financial returns, then I think you're on a good path.
Yeah, thank you. So it's pretty much the same as what Vo just said. You just have to have the vision, so then it will be sustainable in the future. So we have another question coming for you, Regula. This is from Sawaludin Darmawan. The question is, the presence of investors such as Circular Capital is needed to increase efforts to fight against plastic waste pollution. We know that there's not many investors who are interested in entering the world of recycling or waste management industry. So for circular capital, is it possible for you to invest in activities or ideas generated in the areas like where we live in, such as in remote islands?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't say we only invest in, let's say, in Java, in Indonesia, right? We are looking for opportunities outside of Java on the different islands. But certainly, I think on the remote islands, it's a bit more complex in a sense that if you recover material, what do you do with it, right? So what's the economic volume you need to then do something with that plastic? So I think it is even more challenging, and I think that's why EPIC is here to find solutions for islands, right? And that also for remote islands. But I think it's not about remote islands or bigger islands. It is about the innovation you come up with and the approach you go about. So absolutely, you know, solutions are more than viable on remote islands, and I think they're also very much needed on those islands. So I really hope that EPIC will come up with very interesting systemic approaches and for us to also look at.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. So again, it is very important to remember that for this competition alone, size doesn't really matter, because the most important is how that project can be implemented and can be running in sustainable manners. So that's probably the key to win this EPIC phase 2 competitions or challenge. So of course, we still have a few minutes before we continue to our next program. So for that, we would like to ask each of our panelists to give conclusion remarks, short but very important to know to our audience. Start with Vo. Okay, Vo, you can start now.
Hello. Yes.
You can start now to give your conclusion.
Yes. So from my own experience, I think that for the EPIC program in the phase 2, we this is welcome for any idea or the solution that can help to reduce the plastic waste, and also have to implement in the Iceland, in the Indonesia and the Philippines as well. Any idea or any solution are welcome to apply, and hope that we will get the great innovation during this year for this program.
Thank you, Vo. Now, Pak Bambang, it's your turn.
Terima kasih. Jadi closing dari presentasi kami, diskusi kami, mari ketika kita ingin mengurangi sampah, lakukan 3J, jangan tunda waktu, mulailah dari sekarang juga, kemudian jangan langsung besar, mulailah dari yang kecil-kecil, dan jangan tunggu orang lain, mulailah dari diri sendiri, dengan closing, dengan kolaborasi dan partnership, insya Allah pengolahan sampah terkait dengan pengolahan sampah plastik di Indonesia itu akan terwujud. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Bambang. Now, Regula, it's your turn.
Yes, and then I would like just to say, I mean, change starts with us as individuals, right? And I would agree that change happens now, and you can be part of it. You can drive to change. When you consider this, think full value chain, understand the full value chain, come up with innovative solutions which can really tackle the issue. Think outside of the box, be bold, be curious, and really start today. Don't wait.
That's true. We'll start today, don't wait. So thank you very much to our panelists. Thank you, Vo. Thank you, Pak Bambang, and thank you, Regula, for joining us today. I would like to congratulate our panelists, and thank you, audience, for joining us today. So maybe one more sentence from me. I think that needs to be underline here is ending plastic pollution is a collaboration effort. So we need a lot of people to join this competition to implement their ideas. Of course, don't worry, if you have the imagination, just go for it, and then able to learn the stakeholders on the ground, just like Regular said. And then, of course, hopefully this challenge will be your opportunity to make your ideas more implemented in the future, and of course, turning it into a sustainable business for the better future for our generation. So thank you once again to Nguyen Vo, to Pak Bambang Suwerda, and also to Regula Sheikh for being our panelists of the day. So ladies and gentlemen, that's our time for the talk show during our soft launching Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge EPIC Phase 2 in Indonesia. So before we close today's soft launching and talk show event, I would like to invite Mr. Rofi Al-Hanif as the Deputy Assistant for Waste Management to deliver a brief closing statement. So to Pak Rofi, the stage is yours.
Terima kasih Ibu Farlina. Good afternoon everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Yang saya hormati Bapak Gubernur Pak Zulkifli Mansyah, mudah-mudahan beliau masih bergabung. Tadi juga ada Ibu Deputi Nani Hendiarti, Pak Nofrizal Tahar tadi juga ada, kemudian Pak Kepala Dinas Lingkungan Hidup dan Kehutanan Pak Madani Mukarom, Pak Bambang Suwerda, Bapak sekalian, and I would like also to greet the Honorable Mr. Boyan Hotfeld, Acting Head of Mission of Royal Norwegian Embassy in Jakarta, and Ms. Sophie Kamkase, UNDP Indonesian Deputy President Representative. Also, I want to thank to our talk show panelists for the insightful discussion, Ms. Nguyen Vo and Regula Sheikh, and also thank you for the participants of this talk show. Thank you for staying active until the end of this talk show. So, Bapak Ibu sekalian yang saya hormati, ada penelitian yang berjudul How Much Innovation is Needed to Protect the Ocean from Plastic Contamination oleh Cordier dan Uehara di tahun 2019 yang menyatakan bahwa berbagai jenis inovasi untuk menyelesaikan masalah sampah plastik sangat diperlukan. Satu jenis intervensi lingkungan saja tidak akan pernah berhasil. Perlu inovasi yang integrated dari hulu atau at the source of innovation sampai ke hilir atau end of five innovation yang harus terhubungkan. Inovasi hulu dan hilir ini bisa datang dari pembuatan kebijakan maupun masyarakat, keterlibatan masyarakat seperti komunitas, pegiat lingkungan, dan swasta. Dari talk show pagi sampai siang ini, kita telah mendapatkan paparan tentang urgensi dan juga sukses story para inovator dalam menangani sampah plastik di berbagai lapisan dan skala, dari tingkat lokal sampai internasional. Dan kita juga dapat pembelajaran dari negara lain, negara tetangga kita, seperti tadi disampaikan oleh Nguyen Vo. Kita juga telah menyaksikan bagaimana EPIC dapat menjaring inovasi penanganan sampah plastik yang sangat dibutuhkan. Setelah sukses diadakan di Vietnam dan Thailand, kompetisi EPIC yang akan diadakan di Indonesia dan Philippines di tahun ini mudah-mudahan akan mengangkat salah satu tempat yang dijadikan destinasi pariwisata di Indonesia sebagai lokus, dan juga bisa mengadres isu yang ada dan juga memberikan rekomendasi inovasi untuk penyelesaian permasalahan sampah plastik di lokasi tersebut. 15 solusi inovatif untuk mengurangi polusi plastik akan dipilih untuk mengikuti program inkubasi yang akan berlangsung selama 3 bulan. Di akhir tahap inkubasi, para inovator solutif tersebut akan bersaing di EPIC final competition pada September 2021, di mana EPIC akan memilih 4 pemenang untuk mengikuti program akselerasi yang akan berlangsung selama 9 bulan. Mudah-mudahan 4 pemenang nanti akan terpilih dan menerima award senilai 72.000 US dollar. Ini nilai yang tidak terlalu besar sebetulnya, tetapi ini adalah bentuk apresiasi dari kita semua kepada para inventor dan inovator sebagai bukti apresiasi atas solusi yang ditawarkan dan akan diimplementasikan. Saya melihat bahwa EPIC ini memiliki potensi yang sangat besar untuk menghadirkan, menyeleksi, dan men-scale up inovasi terbaik untuk memerangi sampah plastik. Oleh karena itu, saya sangat berharap dan sangat mendukung pelaksanaan kompetisi EPIC ini dan mengundang pihak-pihak dari berbagai sektor, termasuk akademisi, startup, rekan-rekan di institusi pemerintahan, masyarakat luas, untuk mendaftar dan menyampaikan ide cemerlangnya dalam EPIC ini. Melalui kompetisi EPIC, inovasi yang disampaikan dapat menjadi bagian dari solusi untuk mengatasi permasalahan sampah laut yang dihadapi Indonesia, Asia Tenggara, dan juga regional. Untuk itu, saya sekali lagi mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua pihak yang telah mendukung terlaksana EPIC ini, dan juga kepada rekan-rekan panitia yang telah sukses menyelenggarakan acara ini dari pagi sampai siang ini. Juga khusus kepada Ibu Valerina yang telah menjadi moderator yang sangat baik dari tadi pagi sampai siang ini. Sekali lagi kami atas nama Kementerian Koordinator Bidang Kemaritiman dan Investasi mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua, dan semoga apa yang kita kerjakan semakin membawa Indonesia yang lebih bersih ke depan. Sekali lagi terima kasih, saya tutup. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang semuanya.
Salam, thank you very much, Mr. Rofi. Ladies and gentlemen, next allow me to invite Mr. Madani Mukarom, Head of Environment and Forestry Agency of West Nusa Tenggara Province, for delivering a short closing statement. Mr. Madani, the stage is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still waiting for connection with Mr. Mardani to give his closing statements. For the moment, I would like to inform you that today is the soft launching of Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge, or EPIC Phase 2 Indonesia. So once again, we would like to invite everyone to join this competition. For you able to gain $72,000 ideas or seed funding in order to make your ideas or innovation to be able to be implemented in your area, and especially for this phase 2 is in Mandalika, Lombok, and in Samal Island in the Philippines. So we just got a confirmation that Mr. Madani is now not able to give his closing statement. So for that, we would like to thank you for taking part in today's soft launching of Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge, or EPIC Phase 2 in Indonesia. And of course, joining us for the talk show, $72,000 idea to combat plastic waste. We hope to see more and more innovations will take part in reducing plastic pollution, and definitely hope that EPIC Phase 2 would be the platform to support these bright ideas. So we also would like to thank our media partners, Zero Waste Indonesia, Dream Agri Media Philippines, Guyana Youth and Environment Network, or GYEN Guyana, Lighthouse Foundation, Angin, We See, Vilgrow Philippines, jakartakita.com, Manga Bay, dan Unija Sumeneb. And once again, do not forget to keep yourself updated on EPIC Competition Phase 2 through following our social media on Instagram or Twitter at TKN_PSL and at AIS Forum. And then on Facebook, TKN Penanganan Sampah Laut and Forum AIS. Also, our website, sampahlaut.id, plasticchallenge.undp.org.vn, and aisforum.org. So register your bright idea because maybe your single idea alone could reduce 1,000 plastic waste in our ocean. So finally, I'm Valerina Daniel, as your moderator, would like to thank you very much for your participation. Good afternoon and see you at our next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much for everybody. Stay healthy.
The Archipelagic and Island States Forum is a platform designed to facilitate 47 archipelagic and island nations to collaborate and cooperate in addressing common challenges in 4 thematic areas: climate change mitigation and adaptation, blue economy, marine plastic debris, and good maritime governance. In 2017, the idea to establish the multinational cooperation framework among the archipelagic and island states was first iterated during the UN Ocean Conference in New York. In November 2018, Indonesia hosted the first ministerial meeting with 27 archipelagic and island states. The Archipelagic and Island States Forum was established by Manado Joint Declaration. In the following year, the second ministerial meeting adopted the final outcome with 25 AIS participating countries. To achieve our vision, we focus on 4 objectives, which we translate into our programs. Create an open, innovative, and engaging forum. Provide a space to share and implement innovative and tangible programs. Promote collaborative efforts among stakeholders. And create opportunity through the blue economy. Ideation, implementation, and evaluation are the core elements to our solution framework in addressing the problems. In 2020, AIS Forum launched programs to drive innovation, which are AIS Joint Research, a collaborative applied research program affiliated with academic institutions in AIS countries with various topics related to the 4 areas of collaboration. The Innovator Scholarship Program, a fully funded exchange program for talented individuals from AIS participating countries who can demonstrate exceptional leadership quality and creative mind, and AIS Innovation Challenge, to find innovative ideas and breakthroughs that can help societies and businesses to be more resilient and adaptive during crisis situations. AIS Forum also launched AIS Blue Startup Hub, a platform to connect marine-focused startup in 47 archipelagic and island states across the globe. AIS Blue Startup Hub Mentoring Program was launched with 18 participating startups from 6 countries. As an effort to realize the smart, innovative solutions, AIS Forum also engaged with public audiences through online events in a form of trainings, workshops, talk shows, and discussions with various topics and stakeholders across AIS participating countries. In light of COVID-19 pandemic, it is important for archipelagic and island states to have a resilient economy. Therefore, AIS Forum Secretariat introduces programs which focuses on blue economy. As a form of its commitment, AIS Forum developed Blue Economy Development Index, or BEDI. This index will be used as a tracking tool to determine the current use of coastal and marine resources, and it can be used as a tool to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. Blue Financing Framework, or BFF, which provides a guidance for governments, financial institutions, philanthropists, and donors to align their investments with the blue economy principles and allow them to select a project to be financed in the blue economy sectors. Smart and innovative solution programs, such as sharing knowledge sessions with experts and representatives from AIS participating countries. Plankton, which was a competition to raise awareness in reducing marine plastic debris. Impact pitching, which connects startups, small and medium-sized enterprises, potential investors, and growth enablers to gain partnership. And Ending Plastic Pollution Innovation Challenge, which was a collaboration with Marine Plastic Debris Project from UNDP Indonesia to address marine plastic pollution in Southeast Asia. Many solutions to challenges that affect AIS participating countries in 4 main thematic areas and SDG 14 goals are produced through collaboration programs. These programs will explore opportunities through innovation and experiment that benefits on a local, regional, and international scale through sharing knowledge and experiences between AIS participating countries.